Welcome to Biography with Plutarch, where we delve into the lives of extraordinary individuals to uncover the intricacies of human character and the timeless lessons that emerge from their experiences. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the life of Vivien Leigh, a renowned actress whose captivating presence on stage and screen has left an indelible mark on the world of theater and cinema. Born on November 26, 1913, in Darjeeling, British India, Vivien Leigh's early life was a tapestry woven from the threads of colonial luxury and familial complexity. Her parents, Ernest Hartley and Gertrude Robinson, were members of the British expatriate community, with her father working as a broker for the Indian Stock Exchange. The family's residence, a sprawling bungalow surrounded by lush gardens and tea plantations, was nestled in the foothills of the Himalayas, where the misty mountains met the sky and the air was sweet with the scent of blooming flowers. This exotic setting would later influence Vivien's affinity for the dramatic and the unknown, as she grew up surrounded by the vibrant colors and textures of Indian culture. As a child, Vivien was enchanted by the rich cultural landscape of India, where she was exposed to the traditions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. She would often watch and wonder as the locals performed intricate rituals and ceremonies, their bright saris and turbans, a kaleidoscope of colors against the backdrop of the Himalayas. The sound of laughter, music, and whispered conversations in hushed tones would often fill the air, creating an atmosphere that was both captivating and unsettling. Vivien's curiosity and love for storytelling were sparked by the elaborate tales of Indian mythology, which her ayah, or nanny, would recount to her in hushed tones as they sat on the veranda watching the sun set over the mountains. Vivien's parents, though well-intentioned, were also prone to volatility, with her father's temper and mother's anxieties casting a long shadow over the household. Her father, Ernest, was a complex figure, whose charm and charisma were matched only by his explosive outbursts, which would leave the family trembling in fear. Vivien's mother, Gertrude, was a fragile woman, whose delicate beauty belied a deep-seated anxiety that would often render her incapable of coping with the demands of family life. This tumultuous environment would later shape Vivien's resilience and determination as she learned to navigate the treacherous waters of her family's emotions. The early years of Vivien Leigh were marked by a deep-seated desire for stability and control, which would become a recurring theme throughout her life. As Vivien grew older, her family relocated to England, settling in the picturesque town of Tunbridge Wells, where she began her formal education at the Convent of the Sacred Heart. The convent's imposing stone walls and Gothic spires seemed to loom over Vivien as she navigated the strict rules and regulations of Catholic school life. Yet, it was during this period that Vivien's passion for acting began to take root, with her participation in school plays and amateur theatrical productions sparking a creative fire that would burn brightly throughout her life. The influence of her teachers, particularly the convent's strict yet nurturing nuns, helped shape Vivien's discipline and work ethic, laying the foundation for her future success. The early 1920s were a time of great upheaval in Europe, with the aftermath of World War I casting a pall of uncertainty over the continent. As Vivien navigated the challenges of adolescence, she found solace in the world of theater, where she could temporarily escape the anxieties of her family life and the turmoil of the outside world. Her love for Shakespeare, in particular, became a source of comfort and inspiration, with the bard's words and characters providing a sense of depth and meaning that she often lacked in her own life. Vivien would spend hours poring over the pages of Shakespeare's plays, imagining herself as Juliet or Lady Macbeth and rehearsing the lines in front of the mirror as she struggled to find her place in the world. The convent's dramatic society became a haven for Vivien, where she could express herself freely, without fear of judgment or reprisal. Under the guidance of the convent's drama teacher, Sister Mary, Vivien began to hone her craft, learning the intricacies of stagecraft and the art of bringing characters to life. The thrill of performance, the rush of adrenaline as she stepped onto the stage, and the sense of camaraderie with her fellow actors, all combined to create a sense of belonging that Vivien had never experienced before. These disparate threads would eventually weave together to create a rich tapestry of character, one that would define Vivien's approach to acting and inform her most iconic roles. As Vivien Leigh's passion for acting continued to burn brighter, she embarked on a journey that would take her to the esteemed Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, in 1932. The prestigious institution, with its rich history and rigorous training programs, was the perfect haven for Vivien to hone her craft. It was during this formative period that she met her first husband, Herbert Lee Holman, a charming and ambitious barrister who would soon become an integral part of her life. The couple's whirlwind romance culminated in a beautiful wedding ceremony in 1932, with Vivien barely 19 years old. Their marriage was marked by a deep affection and mutual respect, with Herbert supporting Vivien's fledgling career every step of the way. However, as Vivien's star began to rise, the pressures of her growing fame would eventually test the bonds of their relationship. Despite this, their early years together were filled with joy, laughter, and a sense of adventure as they explored the vibrant city of London and all its cultural offerings. Vivien's early career was a tapestry woven from small but significant roles on stage, each one a thread that helped to strengthen her skills and build her confidence. One such role was in the 1933 production of The Mask and the Face at the Ambassador's Theatre, where she played a minor but memorable part alongside a talented cast. Although these early performances may have been modest, they were crucial in helping Vivien develop her stage presence and learn the intricacies of her craft. It wasn't until she landed the coveted role of Ophelia in a 1937 production of Hamlet that Vivien began to gain widespread recognition as a talented young actress. Her portrayal of the tragic heroine was nothing short of mesmerizing, bringing a freshness and vulnerability to the character that captivated critics and audiences alike. One reviewer noted that her performance was a revelation, a true tour de force that left the audience spellbound. This breakthrough role marked a turning point in Vivien's career as she began to attract attention from prominent directors, producers, and actors. The late 1930s were a pivotal time for Vivien, as she started to make a name for herself on the London stage. In 1936, she appeared in a production of The Happy Hypocrite at the prestigious His Majesty's Theatre opposite the renowned actor Laurence Olivier. The two would go on to develop a close professional and personal relationship that would have a profound impact on Vivien's life and career. Their initial meeting was a memorable one, with Vivien recalling the intensity of Olivier's gaze and the commanding presence he exuded on stage. As their friendship blossomed, Vivien found herself drawn into Laurence's orbit, where she was exposed to a world of artistic expression and intellectual curiosity. The two would spend hours discussing literature, philosophy, and politics, with Vivien soaking up the knowledge and insights like a sponge. Their conversations were always stimulating, often meandering through topics as diverse as Shakespearean sonnets and the latest cinematic releases. One of the most significant events of this period was Vivien's casting as Scarlett O'Hara in the film adaptation of Margaret Mitchell's epic novel, Gone with the Wind. The movie, released in 1939, would become one of the most iconic films of all time, and Vivien's performance would earn her widespread critical acclaim. She recalled the grueling shoot, which left her exhausted but exhilarated. I was so drained, both physically and emotionally, but I knew that I had given everything to the role. The experience of playing Scarlett O'Hara was transformative for Vivien, allowing her to tap into a deep well of emotions and vulnerabilities that would stay with her throughout her career. The success of Gone with the Wind catapulted Vivien to international stardom, and she became one of the most sought-after actresses of her generation. She went on to appear in a string of successful films, including 21 Days, 1940, opposite Laurence Olivier, and That Hamilton Woman, 1941, also with Olivier. Her performances were marked by a depth and nuance that captivated audiences, and she quickly established herself as one of the leading ladies of Hollywood. As Vivien's relationship with Laurence Olivier deepened, they eventually married in 1940 after Vivien's divorce from Herbert Lee Holman. The marriage was marked by a profound love and respect between the couple, who would go on to become one of the most celebrated theatrical partnerships of their time. Together, they formed a creative synergy that was unparalleled, pushing each other to new heights of artistic expression. Throughout the 1940s, Vivien continued to work tirelessly, appearing in films such as Waterloo Bridge, 1940, and Caesar and Cleopatra, 1945. Her performances were always marked by a sense of intensity and passion, as if she was pouring her very soul into each role. In a letter to a friend, she wrote, "I am so grateful for this life, for the chance to do what I love, to play these roles that mean so much to me." It was this dedication and passion that would ultimately define Vivien's legacy as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. As Vivien Leigh's career continued to flourish in the 1950s, she found herself navigating a complex web of personal and professional challenges that would test her resolve and artistic expression. Her marriage to Laurence Olivier, though filled with passion and creativity, was also marked by turmoil and infidelity, as both partners struggled with their own demons. The couple's relationship was a tumultuous dance of love, jealousy, and possessiveness, with each partner trying to outdo the other in a game of emotional one-upmanship. Despite these challenges, they remained deeply devoted to each other, and their partnership continued to produce some of the most iconic performances of their time. Their collaboration on stage and screen was a true meeting of minds, with each pushing the other to new heights of artistic expression. As Vivien once said, "Larry and I were two halves of the same whole, creatively speaking. We sparked off each other in ways that few others could." As the 1950s wore on, however, Vivien's mental health began to decline, and she struggled with episodes of depression and anxiety that left her feeling drained and vulnerable. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a condition that would affect her for the rest of her life, casting a shadow over her personal and professional life. Despite these struggles, she continued to work tirelessly, appearing in films such as A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951, and The Deep Blue Sea, 1955, which showcased her remarkable range and depth as an actress. Her performances were always marked by a sense of intensity and vulnerability, as if she was drawing upon her own experiences to bring depth and nuance to her characters. As she once said, "I've always believed that the best acting is rooted in truth, and that means being willing to expose yourself, to be vulnerable and honest." This willingness to take risks and bare her soul on stage and screen earned her widespread critical acclaim and a devoted following among audiences. One of Vivien Leigh's most notable later works was her performance in the 1963 film The Ship of Fools, directed by Stanley Kramer. The film was a critical and commercial success, and Vivien's performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. As she looked back on her career, she reflected on the importance of taking risks and pushing herself to new heights. "I've always believed that the only way to do great work is to take great risks, to be willing to fail, and to learn from those failures." This philosophy had guided her throughout her career, as she continually sought out new challenges and opportunities for growth. Throughout her life, Vivien Leigh was recognized for her contributions to the world of theater and film. She was awarded numerous honors, including 2 Academy Awards, a Tony Award, and a BAFTA Fellowship. In 1968, she was appointed a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II in recognition of her services to drama. As Vivien Leigh's life drew to a close, she faced one final challenge, a long and debilitating battle with tuberculosis. Despite her poor health, she continued to work, driven by a fierce determination to create and perform until the very end. Her death on July 7, 1967, at the age of 53, was met with widespread sadness and tributes from the theatrical community, who remembered her as a brilliant and fearless actress who had left an indelible mark on the world of drama. Today, Vivien Leigh is remembered as one of the greatest actresses of her generation, a true legend of the stage and screen. Her legacy continues to inspire new generations of actors, directors, and writers who are drawn to her remarkable body of work and her unwavering dedication to her craft. Her story is a powerful reminder that our lives are shaped by our choices and that it is never too late to pursue our goals and aspirations. Whether she was playing Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire or Cleopatra in Caesar and Cleopatra, Vivien Leigh brought a sense of authenticity and depth to her performances that continues to inspire and captivate audiences today. That's all for today's biography with Plutarch. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that understanding the lives of remarkable individuals helps us better understand ourselves.